All right, welcome everybody. Excited to get going here. We've got Kelly jumping on, and she's a newer friend of mine, but boy, has she been doing sales development for a long time. She's a podcasting guru. She's got a really fun story that I want to get into, and also hit a couple of these core things that are going on in sales development. But Kelly, thanks so much for joining. How are you?
I am great. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to talk to you today. I know the first
Yes,
time
this
we
one.
talked, we should have hit play to begin with. We had such a
I was
good
just, I
convo.
was just gonna say, I was actually looking at that. I was like, "Oh, that was such a good conversation. We should have just hit play." Hopefully, we capture the magic in the bottle twice and have a good conversation today. Wanted to kind of get into a little bit of your background and some of the cool
Yeah.
things you're up to. But maybe just start a little bit earlier, like how did you get into sales development? What was
Yeah.
this door-to-door thing, you kinda started at the core of sales way back when. Give us kinda the history.
You got it. So, yeah, it's one of my favorite stories. And it's something that's so foreign to people today to think about a door to door sale when people don't even answer their door today. They'll look at their ring cameras before they ever do?
That's right, that's right.
Well, at a young age, I started watching people having certain material things that I thought, "Ooh, that's nice. That's a shiny object. Ooh, look at that." And every time I asked, "What do you do? What do you do?" It would go back to sales of some sort. So I
Yeah.
thought, "Well, that's good." But then I also would ask, about it a little bit more, and I would hear the same thing, like, "You better get tough skin. You better get tough skin." And I
Yeah.
thought, "Well, why? What's gonna happen?" And you learn quick that you're gonna hit the objection wall fast and hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I thought, how do I get around it? And I saw an opening for door-to-door sales, and I thought, well, there's rejection for you. Let me conquer that fear real fast.
Wow,
So
and it does,
yeah,
doesn't it? I mean, talk about getting rejected. That put tough, thick skin, right? That's probably the right word. I mean, what were you selling again there?
encyclopedias, Collier Macmillan. Oh yeah, in the summer, hot, carrying a bag of
My
books, having
goodness.
to still dress up nice, showing up in neighborhoods where you would jump out of moving cars. I'm not kidding you. When I tell you you'd see a neighborhood with like kid stuff, I'd be like, "That's mine." And they'd be like, "Hey, there's a 7-Eleven back, 2 miles. That's where we'll meet tonight at 10 o'clock." Okay, totally
So
safe,
cool.
right?
So
Totally
cool.
different than today.
Yeah, I don't know if you can get away with that. But you
No
did
way.
it, you survived, and
Did
it
it.
sounds like a bunch of lessons learned, and it obviously catapulted your career into
It did.
sales forever.
Yeah, once I realized, at the end of it, stop selling anyway. I don't know if people need what I have. I don't know. And if they don't, you know where I'm going to send them to the local library. This is not going to be I'm not going to push anybody.
That's awesome.
And
Yeah.
and so once you start realizing that, and it's funny because here we are all these years later, and I think with AI we're back to that, which is just be human.
Yeah.
Everybody, stop for a second. Like what's real anymore?
Yeah, yeah.
I So I was doing this, door-to-door sales from the end of high school into the beginning of college, and so
Yep.
when I went to graduate, I got a job at a technology company and was so excited in SDRs, and I thought, "Here I go, I'm starting the dream." And it was a great way to start, but I will say this, I'll date myself. I started before there was WWW. We didn't have the internet yet. We didn't
Mm.
have emails yet.
What'd they
So
call
you
that role back then? They probably called it like a
telemarketing.
telemarketing would have been, yeah, yeah. But you were doing that outbound calling. This wasn't a call center taking inbound, right? You were actually
Outbound,
telesales, right? Hitting the
correct.
phone. And you
And,
probably did it. You probably did the 100, 200 phone calls, 300, I don't know, I mean, and you were
lots.
using old, button co
No, I don't know.
No, yeah, I was gonna I'm like, it wasn't the rotary dialer. Is that what they
No.
call that? The rotary
Yeah.
I don't even know what they call it.
My god.
Have you seen those YouTube videos? They're so funny that where they show 14-year-olds that phone, and they're just like,
What do I do? Yeah, exactly.
don't know
Oh
what
my
to do
god.
with it.
Totally
Anyways,
different
back to
world.
the point, but you did. You again, more thick skin,
Yeah,
pounding the phones, and you were just running the outbound call center kinda program, huh?
I was, and what I realized is as soon as internet came in and there were emails, the
Yeah.
world started saying, "Well, we're not gonna need the phone anymore. We're gonna email
How
everybody."
many times have you heard the phone is dead now in your career?
It's my favorite thing to hear. Please say it. I tell everybody. everybody say the phone is dead, because then the only one getting through is my call,
Yeah,
because I
that's
am
right, that's
going
right.
to
You're
call
even
you.
started to be like, "Yeah, the phone is dead." Wink,
Yeah.
wink, wink, yeah.
Don't do it. Don't. But yeah, so I saw the price of software start to drop quickly. I thought this could be a
Interesting.
perfect storm to stay in this world
Yeah,
and grow and, start managing in this and teach people how to do it because I loved it so much. And so that's what I did. And I just stayed with it. So where everybody started going off and doing their sales careers, I stayed with this. And I still to this day believe that everybody getting into sales should have to stop here and do this role and learn how to outbound and make those calls because I
it
can tell
really
you
does teach you, right? It really
it
does.
does.
It
Well,
really
and COVID was some of my friends that are high-end salespeople do amazing. COVID hit and they thought they were calling me saying, "How do I get back to people on the phone again? I haven't done this in forever. Teach
Yeah,
me."
yeah. Yeah, it's like these types of skills never grow old. I don't think that, everyone's thought with AI and so, it's like, no, 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 look, there's still principles here that are super duper important. So then just finishing the story before we
Yeah.
dive into some of these topics, you had a great run at Hi Bob, as we talked about. I love those guys, such a cool company, cool brand. And then ultimately you're now at Silverfort. So tell us a little
Yeah.
bit about what's going on there. What do you guys do? What's the quick version of
Sure.
kind of the team and stuff?
You got it. So, Silverfort is we do end-to-end identity security. So, have 4 pillars on-prem, in the cloud. We're doing AI, IR security. So,
Yep.
we're the
Yep.
complete end-to-end.
Love
So
it.
really excited. I'm excited to be back in the security space. It's an exciting time here.
Super cool. Yeah, I mean, security seems to be hot of the hot right now. Kudos
Yeah.
on that industry. And then if you don't mind, what is kind of the
Yeah.
shape of the team? You're running the sales development, mostly inbound, a little bit of international, a little bit of outbound. Like, what's the DNA going on right now?
It's 50-50. We're doing inbound and outbound globally. We
Okay.
have a team in Americas, which is in Dallas. We have international, so we have Australia and Singapore,
Okay.
India. We have all throughout Europe. So, from London to Germany, Israel, you name it. We have
Wow.
people all over
And is
that
that
support
all
all
under
the
the
regions.
Silverford umbrella, or have you
Yeah.
outsourced that? No, it's
Nope,
all under.
that's all under us. Oh, yeah,
Wow.
all internal, believe in building the teams internally, believe in the product and what we're doing, so, work
Wow,
directly with our
fascinating. Okay.
partners. Yeah,
Great. Well, yeah, I'd love to dive in and understand how you and over your career have kind of navigated and certainly the current environment with AI. So we touched on the phone, but I just wanted to finish that
yeah,
thought, so it sounds like you are a believer that probably a multi-touch cadence. Like,
it
how
is.
do you coach the team? Because it still feels like, oh man, we book 80% of our meetings off email. We just don't want to do, there's still a lot of them out there. What's your advice for people who feel like phone is dead? It sounds like you're like, don't
Yeah.
believe it, double down on it.
Yeah. It's the skill set's dead. So it's always easier to say something doesn't work or it's dead when we don't have a skill in it because
Yep,
what does getting a new skill take?
yep,
Determination, time, it's going to challenge you, you're going to fail, you're going to have to start again. So yeah, so it's dead and that's what
yep,
people go with. But let me
yep.
tell you, email is filled. People are getting there's so much noise out there. How you get through is really being able to talk to people and find their pain, and it's not about selling a product, it's not about any of that. It's really to get to people and understand what they're looking at. "Can I even help you? I'm not sure." Um,
I love that approach. I mean, when you can get away from that idea of just schlepping your product and just helping, like
yeah,
what you said about the library, it's like, look, I'm genuinely here to help. It's funny if you can get that in your brain, you just come off so much differently. You come off more consultative. You come off, not to say you should be recommending your competition all the time, but I love that point because I just can sense it when someone's like, no, look, I'm honestly here to like help you win. And if that means this or that or that or this, like, let's go down those paths rather than just, you feel sometimes those quote unquote junior SDR, it's just schlep the product,
right.
you're like, well, I had a question. It's like, well, do you want to buy or not buy? Almost mentality. And I love that. Recommend the library.
Yeah, no, and some
So
people are
great.
probably listening to this going, "Oh, what is a library?"
It's back to our encyclopedia days here. So, okay, so big fan of the phone. How does that translate? I would love to break down real quick
Yeah,
your inbound and outbound mentality. So, with your outbound team, it feels harder than ever. How are you finding not companies, your teams winning? Is it,
yeah.
really getting into the data and using this phone, or how are you coaching them to win on that outbound side of the house?
It's a lot of training. And again,
Okay.
it takes time. So we're doing, role playing. And again, just how do you find the pain? How do you
Yeah.
dig into that? And a lot of that is really with being human. I think that, people when you hear things about they don't have budget, they don't it's how do you get around the objections? Nobody's sitting around with budget just waiting for your call. And life is this. I try to teach everybody it's professional life is like your personal life when it comes to any new opportunity. I'm
Yeah.
getting hit all the time. There's an AI solution for everything I do. It's going to save my team all these hours. We're basically going to be able to go to the beach, have the job done for us. Buy
That
this,
does
buy
sound
that, blah blah
cool,
blah.
by the way. That
It
does sound great.
does.
I actually would prefer to be at the beach right now. I would
I mean,
prefer to be,
all of that. Yeah, let's do it.
but it's
But
just not translating to that, right? I mean, the truth is
it's what is my true pain? Where is it? Can I, I tell a story a lot to people that, if I say I travel a lot for work, I say I live in an area that has homeowners association. I wasn't planning on paying. I have a lawnmower. I'll cut my own lawn. But all of a sudden I'm traveling so much, my lawn's getting high. HOA is sending me a letter saying, we're going to charge you $50 a day if you don't have this cut. Well, guess
Yeah.
what? Now all of a sudden I have a pain I need to solve. So how do
Yeah.
I get to that? So in all of this, where is it that your team is, struggling the most to get through their day and their
I
tool stack?
love
There's
that.
so
I
many.
love that.
That's
I love
peel
that.
that back.
That's kinda where we need to find that understanding the pain really kinda creates solutions for you, so you're big about helping your team or coach your team to find pains. Where do you feel like in outbound, whether it's your team or just in general, where are people winning and where are people losing? Like, where are the pains, do you feel like, generally speaking?
So where I feel like people are winning is getting to know who I am a little bit first. So that
Okay.
introduction. So are there things we can do, to make those connections before again, I'm just jumping into who we are. Are we connected on Silverfort? Are we connected on LinkedIn? Do we, have any connections in common? Are you looking for trigger situations? I just moved. So is somebody referencing my move to a different company 6 months ago, type of thing?
Yeah.
Before you're even going into, I think we should talk because of blah, 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 or, just it's 12 to 18 touches that we're going to get through. So you have to
Wow.
use them carefully and sparingly, how you're going to jump into just all of a sudden, I've got a solution for you when you don't know me. It's the
And that
same
is
as when
fascinating.
people
Yeah.
call and say, how are you doing? Like to me, that's the one that gives me like the heebie jeebies. Like, you don't know me. You actually don't care.
It's more or less true. It's interesting, for a while there, I felt like, AI was so cool or new, you could almost be like, "Hey, do you wanna just talk about AI?" Or like, someone could hit you up and be like, "Do you wanna talk about AI?" I think that faded so fast because now there's so much AI talk, that pain conversation, whether it's approaching you as a buyer or to coaching your team, as they go to buyer, we're back to fundamentals again, where because again, it almost felt like you could be like, "Hey, I've got an AI solution." They'd be like, "Yeah, my boss said I had to take an AI meeting." That lasted about 2 months or 3
Yeah.
months, and now it's kinda like, "Hey, how do you know me? Is there a connection?" That building that rapport, and we're
And what is AI solving for you? So, people were saying, oh, the AI is going to take away the SDR role. What it's going to do is shape the SDR role to give you more time to do the things I previously talked about, data and what's needed to become more personable and
Right.
to personalize message and things like that. That's super helpful and takes away a lot of time. I don't have to spend hours researching an industry anymore. I can
Yeah,
get that info really quick. But
yeah.
what is funny when I talk about, again, personal and professional life, it's already happening where now if I call and I need to talk to somebody, I'm never in my life did I think I'd be yelling out, human, human on the phone because I know it's a bot. Like, give
Yeah.
me a human being to get through my problem on this phone
Yeah.
of whatever company I'm calling.
That's coming up a lot more, right? A lot more, AI on the other side, especially when you're calling a company, you're
Right.
going like in a call center kind of experience.
Exactly.
Interesting. Okay, so love some of those principles. So yeah, we all thought AI might replace the SDR team. It's
Yeah.
obviously not doing it. Where are you seeing that then start to play a role? You mentioned a little bit in the research element. So
Yeah.
it sounds like that's an area you and the team, or you're seeing some of your peers start to play with AI. Because I just would love to get to. There is so much hype out there. I feel like so many people are saying AI is gonna make such a difference in sales development. I'm talking to a lot of people, it's not making any difference, it's taking more time, you have 5 email back and forth with Claude, and you're like, You know what, I'm just gonna write it myself," or something. Where do you feel like it is winning? Do you feel like there
Yeah.
is a place for it? Is it too overhyped that it's like, just get back and write your own notes? Like, where's it winning and
Yeah.
losing AI right now?
It's definitely winning for me where you don't have to, your calls are being transcribed so it can remind you about your next steps. So I'm not
Right.
getting lost in if I just had a call that lasted 15 or 20 minutes, like if I'm
Mm.
sitting there writing everything, chances are again, I'm missing what to talk to them about. I'm missing the true
Yeah,
pain. And I
yeah.
see that a lot, especially with new reps when they're trying to be like, where do I put the product info and my message? And so they're just writing everything down and then it's gone, or
Yeah.
typing everything out. So it's helping with that. It's also helping with how am I spending my day? So
Hmm.
we do inbound and outbound. So do we need to take all of the inbound that's coming? Can we
Um,
offset some of the inbound with some of the AI tools to do some of the first set of touches? So where I said 12 to 18,
ooh,
maybe six
ooh.
touches can go out to some kind of tool to do our outbound. We have one here at Silverfort, and it helps offset some of that. So it really is good in your
Fascinating. And
day.
one more click on that. I think that's an interesting debate. People are thinking a lot about inbound and AI. Are you trying to take, like, is it lower tier leads and maybe push it, or is it all leads that kind of get the first? How are you managing AI in that? What's the one click down on that?
Yeah, I think lower tiered. I think ones that have gone dead. Uh, can we revive them? There's always new things happening. Information's out there fast, even in my own company. Like we have new tools, new
New
upgrades,
product, new yep, yeah.
when was the last time I had that conversation with the company to let them know what we're doing now? So there's a lot of things like that. You can also use AI again for your triggers. So I can't watch all the time every individual who's moved jobs or just had a promotion or who just
Mhm.
is going to speak at an event that I want to reach out to, but AI can help me pull that really quickly with all of my different contact lists and let me know, here's all the people that have just had something happen that you might want to touch upon.
Super cool, super cool. That's super interesting. Great example of, I think, where AI, that inbound. Yeah, well, actually, you hit 2 concepts I think people are talking more about. It's the inbound response, whether it's after hours or maybe lower tier, wake the dead, nurture type concepts. That's a real, because sometimes the volume gets enough and you don't want human. You're like, "Hey, I'm spending X dollars and I've got lower conversion rates, but there are conversion rates. Do I wanna have myself a person, or do I want?" I love that concept.
Yeah.
And then the signal stuff, I think that's really coming online more. It's like, "Hey, are we monitoring signals? If we're getting a decent number of them, which ones go to my reps and which ones go to AI to maybe follow up on or
Correct.
alert me on?" I think those are 2 really interesting use cases. I feel like sometimes, I mean, look, the email writing, I think there's something there. The
Yeah.
research, you're probably, those are probably 4 pretty interesting ones. So inbound signals, research, writing, I like some of those. Do
You
do
just
you
have to be careful with the writing, though. I would say this to anybody. It's still not perfect, and you don't want to look like AI. I'm
I
starting to
feel like
notice.
that's the problem now, is it almost feels like I was talking with an SDR and he's like, "Look, I don't mind the team interacting with AI and debating the email, but we're starting to see these different literary examples that you're just like, it used to be the old, dash or whatever, en
Yes.
dash,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And now there's different literary examples where, you just, as a leader, you're just like, "Oh, that
Yeah.
I've seen that so many times, if this then that or something," right? And so he was like, "I just don't want it to sound like AI." And he's like, you get a good example and then you spend 15 minutes trying to rewrite it as a human. He's like, "I don't know, Gabe. I wonder if we should just be writing it as a human."
But sometimes you also have to realize too, everything's transcribed now and people are looking at their phones. So you don't want to go too crazy anyway with the long ones. I mean, I'm reading a sentence and you either got my attention or
You
you don't
got
with
it or
that.
you don't.
And
Yeah.
so you could have a beautiful email, but chances are I'm not reading it anyway.
I love it. I love it. Hit the tech stack for just a second. We touched
Yeah.
on that. Do you You feel like it's gotten bloated? What are the core for you? Like, what's the core systems you're like, you gotta have to be successful right now?
You got it. So yeah, obviously CRM, I believe in working with your email flows, your, campaign flows. So your outreaches, you got your Salesforce. Then for us, a big one for me is because I believe so much in the calling is our outbound dialer. So Orum,
Yeah. Cool.
which is really important and a
And
lot of
why
good
why
things
why
there.
did you again, I
Yeah.
love to give shout out to vendors, so
Yeah, of course.
what sounds like you like Orem, why?
Love Orum.
What's the shout out there?
I can tell you people can say, "Oh, I've used this auto dialer before or
Sure.
that, or this one's like that one." I've never had a company with the customer service the way that it is. We have a Slack
Cool.
channel set up and they respond to us on that Slack channel. Anybody from my team, any question that they're having, they put it out and within a
Kill it.
minute, boom, they're writing back to us. It's
Love it.
unbelievable. I've never waited. And so that's really helpful. And then, they always listen to new ideas. I can't tell you the number of times somebody has said, "Here's something that would really help me in my role." And within a month or 2, we have it. It's in their
Fascinating.
platform. Yeah,
That's cool. I always love to hear
yeah,
the feedback, but the customer service, that's cool that you feel
yep,
like they're part of the team and there's kind of a partnership, right?
absolutely.
Interesting. Okay, so it's kinda CRM, you're a big phone person, so obviously dialing solution makes a difference in that. Anything else you feel like is kinda core for the team?
There's just, there's so many things, like, I think that, for us, just we're building a lot of things within AI ourselves that
Really?
help. So,
Yeah.
you know, we always think about the build versus the buy. So if there's something with research and, so now we have a few tools like that that we can put in the notes and, or company list and it just brings up all the info we need. So it's right there waiting for us.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
What is your take on build versus buy right now? Because there's so many people are introducing Claude and they're
Yeah.
building some of their own stuff. Every rep's got their own little widget now. How do you navigate that as a leader?
I just look at what time, obviously time is money. So, and then how many resources will it take? So is there something out there that is already, you know, further down the line of what's built and what you can have within it. And, then I'm on the security side. So you always have to watch, the security side of what we're doing. So I look at
Yeah.
all of those things.
Definitely gotta watch the security part. That, I think, has burned a few companies in the past. Awesome. Okay, hey, just quick,
Yeah.
lightning round. Just wanna hit maybe 1
Yes.
or 2 things before I let you
Yeah.
go.
Of course.
We hit AI, but I'd love to hear just kinda your quick take. What's the biggest AI myth right now in your mind?
So for me, that again, the biggest myth is that it'll take over your role. And that people won't know it's AI calling or it's not. It's not going to replace the human. It's going to replace some activities, but not
Love
the
it, love
human.
it, love it. What's the biggest outbound myth you feel like right now?
The phone call is dead.
The phone call's dead. Yeah. I love it, and it comes up so much. What do you think is one SDR metric leaders don't pay enough attention to?
Uh, I think it's the actual getting the deals to closed one because I think everything backs out from that.
Yeah, that is a big one, man. How many of us have celebrated the meeting or the appointment and said, "Forget it if it's good or bad. We just wanna get paid on the meeting." I love that one.
Yeah.
And then lastly, what do you think 5 years from now? What is this, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but what do you
Yeah.
think that SDR role looks like 2 years from now in the future? What do you think?
Yeah, you know what? I think I think it's really interesting. I'm still gonna say that it's gonna be a lot of work with the phone. 5 years is a long time. I'd love to know because then I'd build it now.
Yeah, exactly.
In
That's always
5 days, it might be different. But here's what I think it is. I think it's a skill set and a role that's gonna continue to grow.
yeah,
Again, as we're adding new products into the marketplace, you're changing the dynamic of what different salespeople and the roles of the sales teams are. So the segmentation is also changing. So
sure.
products and maybe there's a specific place that they're only talking about certain products or opening the door to smaller size companies, only working with partners. All of those things I think are getting shaped by AI.
Love it, love it. Yeah, I don't think the person might become even more important in the next 5 years. Sometimes I think that, right? I think
There's a bigger
you
play.
you over-rotate so much to technology that, all of a sudden, again, the authenticity, the humanization, you gotta find ways to maybe even bring that out more. We'll see.
That's right.
Alright, well, Kelly, so fun to kinda pick your brain. Great
Thank
career.
you.
Congrats on all the success. Sounds like you guys are
Thank
doing
you.
Cool stuff over at Silverfort. If someone wanted to reach out or get in touch or learn more, what would be the best way to
Yeah.
contact you?
So, through my email is the best way probably, and that's kelly.lichtenberger@silverfort.com,
Love
and
it.
I say it like it's so easy, but Lichtenberger is actually easy, so it's
We'll
KELLY.LICHTENBERGER@silverfort.com.
we'll make sure to throw that in there. You're right. It's you look at it and you're like, that might be tough, but Lichtenberger, it's not
It's
that difficult. So
yeah.
anyways, cool. Well, again, Kelly, really appreciate the time. For
Thank
the
you so
audience,
much.
have a fantastic day.
You too. Thank you for having me.